Hello there, neighbor. Alicia Dolan here at Crafting in My Corner. It is 12:59 on May 19th. I am here with your coffee and a card. Actually, I don't have my coffee this afternoon, and it would have taken me a little bit too long to make another pot and get it down here. So I don't have any coffee today, but I'm still very glad you could join me. We are going to be working on a card this afternoon, and this is a video more like we're going to be creating and crafting at the same time. I didn't prepare all of my things ahead of time, but I did prepare a few. So if you are going to be crafting along with me, you're going to want your On the Horizon bundle. So this bundle is from Stampin Up, and you can only order it through the end of June. So that's why I thought I would make one more card, live video card with this, because I really love the On the Horizon set and the On the Horizon paper. So if you have not seen the paper before, I just want to show you real quick what some of it looks like. So it is, it's some of my favorite paper ever. But here are some of the patterns, and then they all have a reverse side, of course, and here are some of those. But there's a lot of really beautiful scenery papers, tons that are perfect for horizon cards or sunsets, sunrises. They're just really beautiful, and so I wanted to do another card with those today, and that's what we're going to do. So I have my supplies out on my table, and I'm going to show you what I've already stamped and what we're gonna, you'll see what we're going to work on as we go. So let me get my camera turned around. It looks like I'm live in the event. This is the first time I've scheduled a Facebook event and gone live in the event. So if it's not coming through on your end, I will be posting it later on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, hello, thank you for joining me. If you're here on Facebook, and I can't see that anyone is yet, but hello anyways, I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to turn the camera around and we are going to get started. Maybe I am. Here it is. I'm sorry, my buttons must have moved, right? Okay, here we go. Oh no. Hold on a second, I pushed the wrong button. Sorry, you're staring at the ceiling for just a moment while I get this figured out. Okay. Again, this is Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. And today we're making a card using the On the Horizon suite from Stampin' Up. And we're also using some Blackberry Bliss cardstock, some Fresh Freesia cardstock, and some inks. I'll show you those as we go along. So first I'm going to set my stamp off to the side, and I want to show you what cuts you need to get started. So you get started. Oh. Okay, I had to turn off my computer so it wasn't repeating me. We need a piece of Blackberry Bliss that is 5.5 by 8.5. So I've already cut that. And then we are going to take and score that at 4 1/4. I'm going to move my camera up just a little bit because I don't think you can see the scoring tool. I'll try to move it very carefully. so that no one gets any seasickness. I'm sorry, it bobs around a little. And I know it looks a little bit crooked, but it is the best I can do for right now. Okay, so this is our piece of Blackberry Bliss, and it's cut 5.5 by 8.5. And we're gonna score it here in the center at 4 1/4. So I just bring my cardstock to the 4 1/4 mark, close the blade, and this light gray is the one that does the scoring if you have the Stampin' Up trimmer. Then we're gonna take our card that is nice and scored, and we're gonna fold it in half right along that line. And I am gonna take my bone folder and just press along that line to make sure that my crease is nice and tight. So there is our card base. And then I took one of my pieces of Designer Series paper from the On the Horizon bundle, and I can show you what it looked like before. Well, maybe not. I'm sure it was this side, but this is the piece I chose. And you can choose any one of these. But it looked like, let's see. I think I'm on the wrong side. Maybe not. Yep. Okay, it looked like this before. So this, if you have the paper pack, this is what it looks like on the other side. Isn't that beautiful? I love the colors in this pack. All right, so then we cut 3 pieces that are 1 1/4 inch by 5. So there are our 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. So I can set those off to the side for a moment. And I also cut a piece of fresh freesia that measures 4 by 5 1/4. So this is the way we are going to do this. We're going to layer these up. So we'll have our base down here, that's Blackberry Bliss, a fresh freesia piece layer, and then we're going to line these up. And these 3 pieces of Designer Series paper measure 1 1/4 by 5. 1 1/4 by 5. And my plan was, if I measured right, that they would fit right inside this piece of fresh freesia. And I'm finding they should have been a bit smaller. Okay, so this is part of Stamp As We Go. We're going to trim them down a little bit. So we're going to make them, they were 1 1/4. Let's make them 1 1/8. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that that doesn't make them too small. Because I wanted a bit of our fresh freesia to show through, but not too much. The first time I measured them, they were only 1 inch tall, and that definitely was not quite enough. I felt like there was too much of the background showing through. Let's see, so 1 1/8. There we go. All right, so now what do we have? They're gonna go, let's see, 1. It's a little bit hard to scoot them around on that piece of paper. 2. And 3. Yeah, and I think that's going to be better. So let's go ahead and we're just going to glue those down. I'm going to do the top and the bottom first, and then I'll line up the middle one kind of in between them. So I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to put a thin line of glue around the edge and a squiggle through the middle. And I am going to put the first one at the top. And I'm going to try and keep it so that the border around is about 1/8 of an inch, because that's what I like the best. And if you would like if you'd like a larger border, then you're going to make your designer series paper a bit smaller. Oops. Oh, well, I made a mess of that. Keep moving, keep moving. We're just going to keep on moving. All right, and we're going to line this one up on the bottom. Hopefully so that we still have that 1/8 of an inch around each side. And then we'll put this one as close as we can to in the middle. If you are watching this live and you could comment, then I would really appreciate it, because I can't tell. I don't see that anyone is watching. And since this is the first time I have posted a live video in an event, I'm not exactly sure how it works. Facebook told me that it would be both in the event and on my page, and so I don't know where exactly on Facebook this is showing up. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep on going, and hopefully if you want to see me here, you can see me. And I will post it on YouTube later, so that if you miss anything, it will be there. All right, so here's what we have so far. And I cut out, in the Horizon Suite, you get a set of dies. And so inside here are all these super cute little dies. This is the one I used today. It matches with a stamp in the stamp set. Not all the dies always match up with a stamp, but this one does. It matches up with this wood plank right here. And so earlier, before I logged in, I stamped a plank in Fresh Freesia on white, and I cut that out. And I also cut out 2 Blackberry Bliss pieces that are similar to that. And what I'm planning is I'd like to sit these behind here, kind of like that. So they don't go, they don't necessarily go around the shape, but they go behind a little bit and give it a little bit of extra depth. So I plan to put those on here like this. You could also, if you wanted to, stamp punch a big circle that goes behind there, or I just wanted something that gives it a little more depth than what I felt like it had without. And then next, I wanted to stamp the sentiment relax. And I have a piece of scrap white here to stamp it on. And I'm just gonna lock that down there with my magnet and place my stamp where I want it to be, my sentiment. I always turn it over just to make sure that it lines up straight, because some some of my stickers I didn't get exactly straight on top of my stamp, and then when I go to stamp them, they end up being crooked, and I'm hoping to avoid that. Now, I don't have a large ink pad that is Blackberry Bliss, but I do, sorry guys, I do have a Stampin' Spot that is Blackberry Bliss that came in one of my monthly paper pumpkins. So that's what I'm going to use to ink up my stamp today. Oh, I thought I saw someone join us for just a minute, and I didn't look quick enough to see who it was. So if you're out there and you just joined me, hello, and thank you for stopping by. I can see that I knocked my phone a little bit crooked, so I hope no one's having trouble with that. Okay, now my stamp is all inked up. Let me try and straighten that out real quick so that you can get back to seeing both sides of what I'm doing here. Okay, so now I'm just going to close the plate on my Stamparatus and stamp this down. And I have my sentiment all ready. I'm just going to clean my stamp off real quick with my chamois. I know you can't see from there, but I have a real mess on my table today, and I'm hoping to get it cleaned off very soon. All right, now what I'm going to do with this sentiment is I'm going to fussy cut it, and that just means I'm going to use a sharp pair of snips, and I'm going to cut a shape around it. Because I don't have an exact shape to cut this out, and I didn't want to use too many dies or too many punches. I was trying to keep it a little bit simpler this afternoon. So I'm just going to cut around my sentiment. And it's always best, you get the nicest cut image if you turn your paper instead of your scissors. So as I work, hopefully you'll see that I'm turning my paper and not turning my scissors. I've been working really hard at that. It's not, once you get into the habit, it's easier. But when you're out of the habit, it's definitely not. All right, and now we're going to take our Blackberry Bliss one more time. And I am going to look for my little sponge dauber that's a matching color. And I don't see it, so I may have to look for a new one. Give me just a moment. Let me see if I can find a different one. Now, I think this might be the wrong color purple, but I'm hoping it will work anyways. So these little sponge daubers come in a pack of 6, and they're really helpful for adding a little something extra to your stamping. So what you're going to do is just ink up your sponge dauber and then smudge it around the edges of your sentiment. Now you can use these for making a background. You can use them to soften the edges of your cards. Sometimes it softens them a little bit, and sometimes it makes them stand out, depending on what goes behind the image that you're sponging. So there is our Blackberry Bliss image. And I'm going to put my stamp away real quick because I'm pretty sure I'm done stamping, and I'm going to put my Stamparatus to the side. I almost couldn't find my stamp set, and it was right there. Okay, I'm going to put these back away. You guys, this is a beautiful stamp set. If you really want it, I would say get it before it's gone. All right, so now what I would like to do is I have some ribbon here, and this is the white glittered organdy ribbon. And I am going to wrap this around and make a little bow here on the left side. So what I do is I've got my tail end on the right, and I have my spool end. That's actually my left. The tail end on my left and the spool end on my right. If I knew my left from my right, would that help? Maybe. Okay, and so I'm going to take the right end of the ribbon and I'm going to cross it over the left. So I'm moving my spool over there to the left. And then I'm going to bring it under. And the spool is still over there on the left. I'm going to pull up a bow on the left-hand side. And I'm going to wrap this around and tuck it through. And hopefully my bow will go from top to bottom instead of side to side. At least that's my plan. And I try never to tighten my bow too tight until I get to the end. That way, if I need to pull a little bit more of it out or try to twist it around, I have a little space to do that. Once you tighten it up, it's really hard to adjust. All right, so, and that one doesn't feel real tight, but I'll just tuck a couple of glue dots under it and I'm sure it will sit just fine. There we go. Now I'll grab my mini glue dots and I'm just going to stick a couple under there so it doesn't get away. And I like to use my take your pick tool for this. So here are our little glue dots, and I'm just going to scoop one up and tuck it right underneath that bow, just like that. And I'll set those glue dots back off to the side, just so I don't end up glued to everything. And I want to, let's see, shall we put this flat, I think, and then we'll pop up the next layer. So I'm going to put some more liquid glue around here, a little thin line around the edge, and then a squiggle through the middle. And then I can glue that piece right to the front, kind of in the center. Now, if you are subscribed to my email list, I'll be sending out a PDF with instructions for this later, with all the measurements in there, even the changes to the size of the designer series paper. And let's see, how are we gonna fit this on? 2, 3. All right, I'm going to glue this one right to this piece. Like that. I'm going to, let's see. I think I'll glue this one flat too. So we're just gonna use little lines of liquid glue around. And I will glue that one here. And then we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals on the next two pieces. So we'll put 2 on here. And set that up here. Okay, and then for this one, I'm going to use 1 Stampin' Dimensional up here, and I'm going to double layer this bottom corner. So I'm going to put 1 up here, and I'm going to put 2 down here. Now that's going to make my card a little bit tall in the center. So when I put it in the envelope, I'll have to be a little bit careful with it, but it'll still go in. So we're just going to put it right there. And see how that double layer kind of makes it a little more even on that one side. I hope you can see that. And we can, let's see, we could add some little gems to this. Maybe up here in the corner. I'm always a fan of little gems. I like little sparkly gems on my cards. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool again, but this time I'm going to use this little sticky dot end. And I'm just going to scoot these little rhinestone basic jewels off of there with the sticky end. And then I can place them wherever I want them to be. So I'm going to put one right here and here and maybe right there. Oh, that didn't stick. It was a little tricky right there because of those dimensionals. There we go. And I have 3 little sparkly gems on there. And that is the card for our Facebook Live today. I will be back on my regular schedule this Sunday. I have missed 2 Stampin' Sundays in a row, and I feel very out of sorts about that. But this week I will be back on track, and I will see you on Sunday. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy this beautiful weather, and I will be stamping again with you soon. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can always email or message me about any projects. I'll see you guys later. Bye.